This Football Manager challenge is harder than the Pentagon challenge. In the Pentagon challenge, you have to start as an unemployed manager with no experience and trying to win the Champions League in 5 continents. But in this challenge, we're going to try to bring a football club back from the dead. The club we want to resurrect is Bury FC, and they are an English club that are based in Greater Manchester. They were once expelled from the English Football League and they have ceased to become a professional club. With no money, Bury now plays in the lower depths of English football in one of the county leagues. We are going to try to bring Bury back from the dead by leading them into the English Football League. We could go as far as taking them up to the Premier League if possible, but that is what actually makes this challenge more difficult than the Pentagon challenge. Since we're currently in the Northwest County League's Premier Division, this is like 10 leagues away from the Premier League. So instead of a Pentagon challenge, we're sort of doing a Decagon challenge. Let's see how our first season in the County League goes. Well, thanks to Sorted Out SI, we're able to get some of the database that allows us to unlock the other leagues that are below the Skybet or the Vanarama Conference League. And we can see here that Bury are currently in the Northwest Counties League Premier Division. So it's one of the county leagues. And if you go over to League Preview, you can see that it's 229th competition reputation. It's like way down there. So the journey all the way, if you go over to the rules category, you can see that if we get promoted from this league, we get into the regional first divisions, and in the regional first divisions we can see the teams that are there. We still have to somehow get promoted from here, and then in the regional we can see that we get into the Southern League Premier South. And in that particular league, if we get promoted from this league, you can see that at that point is where we can get into the Vanarama North and South Division. And at this point, you know that we're actually making headway and we're close and very close to our situation, or we're getting close to our goal of bringing Bury back as a professional team. So in the Vanarama National League North, you can see that there are still rules there. You have to get into the Vanarama National, and the Vanarama National, that is where if you win the Vanarama National or you get promoted from there, you officially become a professional club in Skybet League 2. So that is the job for us as Bury now. So we'll come back after the first season and see how we do in the Northwest County Premier League Division. We can also see here from the transfers tab, but our transfer budget is actually £0. We have no money to spend, and the wage budget is about £2,000. So I don't know what we can actually do with £2,000. The club is predicted to finish in 23rd place, and if you see that our reputation is like 1 star, our finances are quite okay, but apparently the club is 3.7 million or 1.7 million in debt, which is really scary. But look at our facilities, there's nothing really much to write home about over there. Three for training facilities, poor youth facilities in 2, and everything else is 2, to be honest. No youth recruitment or academic training in any form. We're starting from the grassroots here. So after our first season with Bury in the Northwest County Premier Division, we actually won the league. Funny enough, I know most teams are not very good in this league, but neither are we. But we had 120 points all season. And if you look at the data hub here, we can see real quick that most of our goals, we had like 2.98 goals per game, which is quite good, almost 3 goals per game. But we conceded 1.02, which is like a goal per game. So we did quite well, but that's lower league football. You expect to concede, but you also expect to score more goals than you concede, so you can actually get promoted. We can also see here that we got knocked out from every other cup competition, so which is good for me. When I'm in the lower leagues, I don't really spend too much time on cups. It's because you always try to get promoted as fast as possible, and we did that here. Now in our next season in the Northern Premier League Division 1 West, we are in the playoff final against a team called Leek. This is the first time I've actually heard of this particular team. They're also in the lower leagues of English football, very similar to us in facilities. But both of us are now in the final of the promotion playoff game. So if you get promoted here, we actually go all the way to the upper division. So we're ready for the final against League, and let's see how far Bury are actually able to push. Okay, the first half has been embarrassing. We have 66% possession, but we've not had a shot or even a shot on target. It is just really scary now. I don't know how we're going to get through this. Oh my goodness, there's another chance. There's the goal. They've eventually found their way to score a goal, and we just might not get promoted this year. Oh, hang on. It's like we've decided to actually get in the game. Okay, no, that didn't work out. There might be something out of this game eventually. House Smith. Why did we wait for this long? Oh no, hold on. Oh my goodness. Bro. We didn't get promoted, so we're going to be stuck in this division for the next season, which is really sad. But I did hope that at some point we were going to come back in this game. But I'm far from pleased with that result. My team actually think that they're not as good as they're supposed to be. So it's probably why they are not feeling very good after I've told them that they didn't play well in this game. So it means we're actually punching above our weight right now. But we need to do better. Now that we've lost the playoffs to the league by 1 goal to 0, we could look at our signings and see what could possibly have gone wrong. Looking at our transfer history, you can see no transfers has been sent in, but we've gone on to send off some players on free transfer to other clubs. We've lost some players, to be honest. I know Spennymoor Town is quite a good team, and Sam Coughlin looks like a proper player that we lost. So that could have been why we had a serious struggle to try and get ahead. But it's possible to go ahead and find more players like this. I can just look at our depth center and see if we have. There are no youth players worth noting. We don't even have anybody else on loan. If we look at the under 18 team, we don't have currently an under 18 team. So it still feels like we have a lot to do. We could try to improve our youth intake. Let me just go and test the board. They're already disappointed with my ability to grow the club's reputation. Well, you can give me a better youth intake so we can look at increasing the youth level. I know we have the money now, so that's something that we should be able to do. Increase the youth facilities and then maybe try and work on the training facilities as well. See what's going to happen if we do that. I'm surprised we have nearly 300k to spend even when we are in Northern Premier League Division 2, a team that is in a I don't even know what level this is. For some reason, the newly promoted Bury side is actually predicted to finish in first place in this division. That is just really, really strange. So let's see how this is actually going to end up. The board has agreed to improve our youth facilities. It's going to cost us around £140,000. That's a lot of money. Oh my goodness. I thought we were broke. They're also planning to improve the training facilities by, it's going to cost us about 95k. Up until the end of the season, that's when we're going to, okay, hold on, up until July, so we can expect to see this start in July and then end in October 2025. Youth facilities, same thing, October 2025. We should have everything that we need set. What about youth recruitment? They actually rejected youth recruitment, so I'm going to have to go back and discuss that with them because we do need youth recruitment. We should try and invest in that. They're not good enough. No, they're not. They're not. Okay, we wanted to focus on improving the team. Oh my goodness, they did not grant our request. Oh, come on. So we have to plan for life in the National Premier League Division 1 West for next season. Let's see how that actually goes without our youth recruitment that we asked for. So we're here in January in mid-season. I had to just pause it there because for some reason we're still in 7th place in the league. We're actually trying to win the league here, not trying to stay in the league for another year. And I noticed that in the squad planner, we don't really have players in any positions according to our tactics. So we need to go and start making signings. And I'm going to just find a way to get all the free transfers that I can find to try and fill up the squad with some players so we can not be stuck in this league for another year. So I've gone on to make a few signings as is possible with the amount of money that we have. We've gone on to sign a centre back, Jack Steventon, and if you look at his attributes, not so great, but he has some good area ability in 6'2", so he could actually help us in defense. We'll go ahead and accept him. And then of course we have another centre back here in Oran Jackson. He's also coming in to try and give us some depth at centre back. I signed him because of his determination and composure, so that might help us out in defense. I did go on to add more players to Jackson and Steventon. There's Liam Dawson. He is another central midfielder that we have that can act as a playmaker for us. We also have here Macaulay Murray, another central midfielder. And then, of course, Ben Frimpa. He's going to play as a centre back as well. There's still some pending transfers that could happen, like Oli Battersby and former Bournemouth striker and winger Jordan Ibe. I don't know if anybody still remembers Jordan Ibe. If you do, let me know in the comment section if you still remember him. He used to play for Bournemouth at a point, and at some point he also played for Liverpool, if I can remember. Let me just go ahead and check Jordan Ibe. Yes, he did play for Bournemouth, and before Bournemouth he was at Liverpool, so that's an interesting one. Let's hope his deal actually comes through. Now, by the end of the third season, we've not been able to actually get back into the upper division, so I just realized we're going to have to play through the season 3 rather than just simulate most of the games like we've been doing. Yeah, we can also see here that we finished in 6th place, which is just missing out on promotion, but we're right up there, and I feel I'm going to have to strip down the tactic to the one that I'm comfortable using. I was using a slightly more complicated tactic, and it helped us get as far as here. But in order for us to move forward, we actually need to get something more simple and then try to get as many free transfers as we possibly can to get into our team and then see what we can actually do. Most of these players here, as you can see, they came on a free. I've already told you about some of them, and we can see that the Jordan Ibe transfer has actually been completed as well. He is now on the team, so I'm going to actually try to find a way to build my team around him and have him be my winger and also kind of like a playmaker, act as that kind of player for us, and then see how we do next season. So in our third season in the Northern Premier League Division 1 West, we actually went on to win the league. We had some ups and downs in there, and we even lost our last game of the season, but it didn't matter. We got all the points that we needed to actually win the league. And if you look at the data hub so far, we actually scored a lot of goals, 2.18, and even though we conceded 1.34, we're kind of back to our promotion quality level of stats if you look at the data hub. So it's quite good. Last season, I think we didn't have the players to do what we needed to do. But this season, we did go on to get those players to try and rebuild the squad. And it did help us get a lot. It did help us win the league. And the one transfer that changed our season was Callum Lamouth. Callum Lamouth is a striker that I don't know where he's from. Okay, he's an English striker, but you can see his star rating is like 2.5 star. But I kid you not, this guy, if you look at our squad, Callum Lamouth actually scored the most goals in 27 in the league. It just tells me that star ratings may not really matter if I'm going to do this rebuild. So we'll try to get our hands on the best players that we can, and to some extent try to trust those players that are average and that don't look very, very good, to be honest. So it means dwelling on youth a lot. Our youth has not been coming through that well. We didn't have a head of youth development. I noticed if you don't have one, you may not have a youth intake. So we didn't have one. Recently I went on to sign one, and then we have some young players in here. We have to go ahead and renew their contracts, and there's one here in Eric Tracy. He looks quite good teamwork and acceleration not so good, so he can play as a defensive midfielder. We can consider just keeping him in the squad. All right, so Eric Tracy, just go ahead and try to offer him some contracts and then approach the sign. Try to keep all our young players as we can, even though they're not very perfect. They don't have to be good. They just have to complete the squad, really. So now that we've won the league, where to next? We can just go ahead and check in here, try to go over to the rules, and then see what's going to happen next. When you get promoted from this division, we go into the Northern Premier League division. So that's the league that's actually above us right now. So that's what we're going to get to. And from there, we can actually start thinking about the Vanarama, of course. Yeah, we can get into the Vanarama North if we go on to win the next division above us, if we go on as we get promoted. In the Northern Premier League Premier Division, we made it to the playoff round, but we lost to FC United by 2-1. It was a very difficult game to actually get through. They are a much better team than we are. And how do I know this? That is because at some point in the league, if you go all the way back to the schedule, most of our recent schedules, we ended up losing to FC United 5-1 in the Integral League Cup final. So we met them again in the Northern Premier Division final, and then we lost the game 2-1 to them. So we can't get promoted this time into the Vanarama League North or South. We have to spend another year in the Northern Premier League Premier Division. So that's how it is. It's difficult. I know it's very difficult at this point, but we'll find a way at some point. So if we can't get promoted via the playoffs, we'll find a way to get promoted either as a champion or win the playoffs next year. So far so good. If you look at how we actually finished in the league, if we look at the league stats, we can get into the Northern Premier League division right now. I hovered over to stages and then switched to the league table. We were in 5th place, so we didn't have that good of a season in our first attempt, but it was hard enough that we found a way to get into 5th place, but then we lost in the playoffs. Difficult as it is. We lost only 8 games in the league. We can just go ahead and find a way to tweak our game and then get more players, because it's always about getting free players. Get some free players in there. And then if you look at our under 18, we're starting to pop up some players from the youth academy. In the dev center, some players are starting to pop up. We got our head of youth development, so that was able to help us get some youth players, some youth candidates. Hopefully we can get some players to actually come in. There's a Luke Fellows in here, signed just the one guy. So it's a really small squad, and hopefully we can have a better season coming up. Now, after 3 seasons in the Northern Premier League Premier Division, we've been able to secure promotion to the Vanarama National League North or South. Now, the year is 2030 so far. It's taken longer than I expected, but you can see here that we finally won the league, and we have 2 games to go, but we already have 89 points and we're already champions. This was fairly difficult, and some of the other particular players that I had before, they've all gone now. We have a separate group of players at this moment, but I'm finally excited to get into the Vanarama National League at this point. And then if you look at our squad right now, most of the appearances or most of the goals, the highest goal scorer was David Abimbola. He was there for a while. We actually got him in for free. And then you can have David Abbas as well. He scored 17 goals. Abimbola had 22 goals. And then Kieran Graham was one of our attacking midfielders. He did quite well, scoring 16 goals with 17 assists. One of our very creative players in this team. They're all worth 24 and up to even 80k pounds now. So we can go ahead and then sell them to other players or sell them to other clubs if we want. But what I'm most grateful for in this situation, but what I'm really happy for now, is the fact that we actually get into the Vanarama North and South, which means we're really close to the Skybird League 2 at this point. We just need a few more seasons and then we're going to get into Skybird League 2. So we are now in the Vanarama League North, and currently the expectation for us is to actually avoid relegation. Considering the quality of the squad that we have at the moment, yes, it sounds correct, avoid relegation, but that's going to be the plan. But also, I don't expect to stay in this league for too long, because I don't want to spend up to like 3 seasons in here trying to struggle and be a mid-table team. The plan is to actually find a way to build a team that can help us get promoted as quickly as possible. Looking at our depth center, we're still getting trickles of under 18 players that are coming through. Hopefully, as we progress, we can get more players into the under 18 teams. But for now, let's see how far we actually go in the Vanarama National League North. So we've come to an end of the first season in the Vanarama Conference League North. And if you're looking at our new season, we currently have a board, whatever this is. Board reaction was like C minus, but I doubt that's not how it's supposed to be. Looking at our season results, we ended up winning the league with 105 points. We lost 7 games all season, and fairly enough, we won 33 games. This Vanarama National League North season was actually a lot easier than the previous division that we were in, which is shocking to me. I think the 4-3-1 works quite well this year. So I switched to a 4-3-1, and that kind of helped us just fly through the league. One team that actually gave me a lot of problems in the previous division, which is Blade Spartans, one of my favorite teams. If you've been following the channel for a while now, you probably know that. But they actually got relegated, even though they were stronger than me in the previous league that we were in together. We both got promoted together, and well, were the ones that actually ended up being champions. Now we are on our way to the Vanarama National League itself. So from there, we have one more league to actually conquer before we can get into Skybet League 2. There's some moments to remember. We did go on to beat Blade Spartans 8 goals to 0. We also went on to beat Braintree by 6 goals to 1, and then Darlington, of course, 5 goals to 2. These were some of our top performances. We've made a bit of money from player sales and, of course, broadcast revenue, but our reputation is still very local, so we have a lot of work to actually do to become a very sufficient team again in this Football Manager save. Yeah, you can see our system now, mainly because of Sean Williams. He's one player that I had to just change the system because of him. He prefers to play as an engunsh or an advanced playmaker in the number 10 role, and I was using a different system before. It wasn't really working, and I had to find a way to bring him into the team. So switching to a 4-2-3-1 really helped us get that in there. And it was a fantastic season altogether. So we're going to the Vanarama National League now. Okay, now that we're in the Vanarama National League, we can actually try to retain some of our players. And I know we have just a competition with the FA Cup and the Isuzu Trophy, but looking at the league to see where we actually stand, you can head over to the Vanarama National League and then look at the season preview. We are predicted to finish in 16th place. So this is kind of the way it has been in other divisions as well. So we just have to find a way to push ourselves up. Looking at our club info, our reputation, if it has actually improved, it's still 1 star. Our reputation hasn't really improved, to be honest, but we will have to find a way to get into Skybet League 2 at this point. So the challenge now is to actually find a way to stay in the Vanarama National League, avoid relegation, and then try to push for promotion as quickly as possible. So now that we are in the Vanarama National League, we have to find a way to make some signings with this team. And we still have to stick to free transfers. So if you look at the scouting for some reason, or let me just go back to the squad planner for now. And if you look at the squad planner, we don't have anybody structured in any position. So we see that we're lacking in every single area of the pitch. So the idea for me here is actually go ahead and create a recruitment focus for each of these players. Maybe set the star to like 4.5 star because we're in the lower leagues, and then anybody that pops out, let's use 1 star for minimum current ability in case there are young players in there, or 1.5 star, and then 4.5 star for their maximum potential. Go ahead and scout them. I'm going to do that for every single position and then try to sign players from there. And by the end of the season, we can then go ahead and look at the players that we're able to sign, and then I'm going to share that with you. So let's just get through the season. In the midst of all these promotions, I've been able to get my National A license, and I've currently just asked the board to give me a chance to study for the Nationals or the Continental C license. So our manager attribute is actually increasing. The only attribute that hasn't improved is the adaptability, and this is the fact that I haven't actually changed clubs, so I don't actually expect my adaptability to improve. So that's kind of where we are. We'll see how our first season in the Vanarama National League goes. Now we are 7 points clear at the top of the Vanarama National League, but I had to just stop the save here just to show you the transfers that we've been able to make so far. If you go back to the transfer history, some of the players are currently transferred out, but we have our eyes on some players that could be coming in at the moment. A lot of players are going to be coming in on the free transfer. We have a goalkeeper that is coming in just to help out with the squad. He has area reach of 16, close to 20, 6'5", so he's the kind of goalkeeper that I need as a backup goalkeeper. I also have a centre back coming in, Ethan Khan. He has good determination, 6'4" as well. Another player that can help us out from corners. There's a left back here in Lawrence Fosu. He also has good pace and acceleration. So I think right now I'm using numbers. I'm using the color of the numbers because my attribute masking is turned on. So he's within the range of 11 to 17. So the fact that it's yellow just means it might be good enough to actually be better than white. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign him. I have Abraham Kanu as well, another very good player that has some yellow attributes in there. So it could be quite good. And then you can see there's a striker here in Mati Varhorst. Is it Varhorst or Warhorst? Player with good finishing, good anticipation, good natural fitness as well. So I'm just trying to bring in all these free players. I've also gone ahead to get in some staff. I have somebody coming in as an assistant manager in George Boyd. The only problem with this is that we have to pay a compensation to Blitz Spartans. It's about 10k, I think, which is a lot of money for us, but to be honest. But he has that discipline, determination, and motivation. So I'm going to bring him in to add him as a good coach into the squad. Joe Hutchinson is in here as well. I'm trying to remember what role I want to give him. Chief Scout. Okay. Hutchinson is going to be our chief scout, and then there's David Knowles, and he is going to act like the other scout in the team. I also went ahead and changed my head of youth development to a guy named Aaron Milbank, and he has good judging player ability and potential, but working with youngsters is not so good. But I'm just going to try to turn a blind eye for that one. The discipline could also use a bit of work, so I'm only going to try him for like a year or two and see the kind of youth intake that comes through. If it's not good enough, I can go ahead and change him. So now we've found ourselves in a situation where it's the last game of the season and we've dropped from first place to fourth place, drawing so many games that we didn't actually need to draw. And now we actually, I think we're 3 points off the top of the table. So not only do we have to win and hope that Accrington Stanley don't win. So we have a game against Chester coming up and we are, like I said, 3 points off, but we have the best goal difference in 45 plus. So hopefully if we actually go ahead and beat Chester and then Accrington Stanley, who are they playing against? Accrington Stanley go away to Sutton. So if they don't win and then we go ahead and win, we might stand the chance of actually winning the league and avoiding the hassle of playing playoffs for promotion. So keep your fingers crossed for this one. Oh, where's our first highlight already? We're in possession here. Spencer out to Fosu. Fosu plays it into the center again for center. And then, oh, Lindo actually went ahead to miss that. Oh my goodness. Chester actually have a chance. Oh, please don't let them score. This is going to be worse. Out to Clark. Stokes. Plays a crossing. Ha, lovely block. Richards. They've got on to score. 1-0. Oh my goodness. We're already losing. I think we might have to go through the playoff route if we actually want to get promoted to Skybird League 2. What about this? What is going on in here? Richards just smacks it home. 1-0. Oh my goodness. Okay. What is going on? Okay. This is a chance for a counter attack. Be quick. Oh, we've lost possession again. Out to Broughton, out to Clark. Here's Barrett. Can we keep possession of the ball, please? Great ball retention. Okay. I'm liking what I'm seeing. We might end up with a chance here. Oh, please don't send it backwards. There's a lot of ping pong football going on. House Stokes out to Broughton again. Lovely ball. That's 2-0, definitely. Oh, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. So first half is 2-0, and even though we had 6 shots, we had only 1 on target. We've lost possession in this game. We haven't been able to control the ball in any way. It's not looking good. We might have to go ahead and play playoffs in order to get promoted to Skybird League 2. That is if we win all our games in the playoffs, remember. Are they about to make it 3-0? Oh, bloody hell. That's going to be so annoying. I'm leaving. I'm leaving this game, man. I am leaving. We're only able to pull 1 goal back in the 64th minute, but that was as far as it got. We have to go to the playoff route now if we're planning to actually get through to Skybird League 2 this season. It may not be very easy, but we're going to have to find a way to do it. But for the first season in the Vanarama National League, we finished in 4th place after the league was done. 46 games. Won 26, lost 11 times, and then had a goal difference of 43. That's because of the recent defeat that we just had. But as it is now, we have to meet Accrington Stanley in the Isuzu Trophy final. Then we can start thinking about the playoffs much later. So that's where we are right now. So we're ready for the playoffs rounds now, and our first game is against Field, and the playoff actually consists of 4 teams. So we're going to play Field, and then Barnet and Yeovil Towns are going to play themselves. Remember, our board expectation was to actually fight against relegation. But somehow we found ourselves in the playoff round, so hopefully we can have a good game against Field and sneak our way into the final to play against either Yeovil Town or Barnet. So I'm just going to go ahead and simulate this one because I'm really scared about how the game could actually go if we go ahead and play it. So just fingers crossed for this one. Most of my players are already troubled. I noticed that my tactic was slowly starting to lose some potential towards the latter stage of the season. I hope we do not lose this game against Field, to be honest. It will be so frustrating. 2-2 and we won on penalties. Oh my god. We actually took the game to penalties and won. 2-2, we won on penalties. So we are in the final of the playoff round. So it's either going to be, okay, between Yeovil and Barnet. We're going to see what happens in that game. But for now, whew, that is That was really nerve-wracking. I did actually play the game, so I don't. We're not actually meeting Barnet yet. We have to go ahead and play Shrewsbury. So the Vulnerable National League playoffs have a lot more teams in this one. So it wasn't actually 4 teams. I think we're about 6 teams. So let me just go ahead and confirm that. So looking at the season preview, so looking at the league table so far, there were like 6 teams involved. So Field are already out. Yeovil is already out as well. So we have Shrewsbury to actually worry about next. So let's figure out how we're actually going to get through that game. From what I see here, they play a back 3 system. So it might help to just stick to our 4-2-3-1 tactic that could help us get results. I'm actually nervous for this Shrewsbury game because they are playing a back 3 system. Here's our first chance at goal. Oh, headed away out to Howard. Can you just help us recycle possession? Out to Mason. Now Jones. Out to Brown. Out to the wings by Jones again. Oh, that could have been a goal. It's actually a weak shot. Maybe something here for us. Great pass out to Howard. Intercepted back again by Howard. Out to Brown. Out to Howard on the wings. Lovely ball. Ooh, no one could actually get there. Howard again, still in possession. That's a red card. We've gotten something. We've gotten something in this game. Now they're down to 9 men. On the pitch anyway. They're down to 10 men. Okay. With Shrewsbury down to 10 men, we might be able to get something out of this game. Here, Spencer, take a shot. Wonderful. 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 Here's Jones. Whew, missed it. Ball is still in play. We are almost there. We are almost there. One more corner. Out to Brown. Headed. Ooh, nearly. Yes, we're into the final of the Vanarama playoffs. So we've beaten Shrewsbury in the semi-finals. Although we kind of robbed them because they got a red card and then we're able to pounce on that. And nobody gave us a chance, really. But we've proved our doubters wrong. So on to the final of the Vanarama National League. But we're going to have to play without Sebastian Williams. He's one of our best players, but he's currently injured, so we might have to do without him in that game. 2 or 3 days, depending on when the final is. Okay, he should be back before the final. Okay, let's just figure it out. So the results from the other semi-final is in, and we will be playing Barnet in the final at Wembley. So hopefully, yeah, I'm excited for this. Let's go. Sebastian Williams is back for the playoffs, so that's good. He's back for the final. So let's see how we can actually find a way to secure promotion here. Wish us luck, to be honest. Barnet, here we come. This is Wembley, right? Yeah, it looks like Wembley. Let me just be sure that that's what the stadium that we're playing in. Yeah, Wembley, London. Barnet have the first chance. Oh, but they've missed that too. How do we get Barnet to have a red card right now? That's what I'm thinking. I noticed that the 4-3-3 does very well against my 4-2-3-1 system. So I'm hoping that we can get something out of this game. There's a chance. Oh, they've missed that as well. It's still goalless even at the 72nd minute. Here's Kanu. Kanu is in possession. He's just... oh my goodness, what is he doing? What is he doing? He just cost us the entire promotion. Why is he just holding on to the ball and dancing? I'm sure it's that dribble ball instruction for the ball playing defender. It did not help us here. What was Kanu doing with the ball, mate? Oh, my days. I will be crying in my sleep after this. I will be crying, mate. There is no coming back from this. Wait, hang on. We still can get back in this game. I've seen it happen before. Yes, Williams. Out to it now. Get the ball. Get the ball. Is there anything more we can do? It's just 1 minute to go now. Ball to Edwards. He hasn't been able to get through to it. Now Barnet are on the break. Can they lose possession? They sort of lost it and then they got it back. Out to Kalu again, or Kanu. Through ball out to Heaven, and now Sebastian Williams out to Jones. Jones just lost it. 10 seconds to go. Oh, that was it. That was our moment. We didn't get it. That was our moment right there. We didn't get it. One last corner. And we might just plan for our life in here. I should change that near post corner, or that far post corner. So we didn't actually make it, to be honest. We lost 1-0 to Barnet, even though I feel we played better than the Shrewsbury game. But we were unlucky, so I guess that's just the way it is. We have to stay back in this season and then build a team that can actually get promoted and try to win it automatically rather than going through the playoffs, because I hate the playoffs, to be honest. So that's where we are in the Vanarama National League now. On to our next season, we'll see how well we can do. We still have a final coming up against Accrington Stanley, but I'm just going to use that as a, what do you call it? Maybe just to earn some reputation, but that's about it. So we'll just look at the squad and see how well we did this season. And looking at our appearances, most of my players like Curtis Havenland actually played the most games in 51. He scored 33 goals as a striker, which is exceptional. Dabo is my goalkeeper, played the second best, but he didn't really score a goal. And then Mickey Jones had 19. Sebastian Williams, which is out of contract at this moment, he only scored 12 goals. But I'm going to find a way to keep him because I do like him as a player. So I'm going to have to find a way to renew his contract now and just make sure that ask the director of football to do that. And hopefully things are going to work out for us. For this season, we did quite well. Finishing, where did we finish? Looking at our data hub, to be honest. We had very good performance, 2.2 per game. We conceded a lot, which I feel one thing I'm going to change is the ball playing defenders dribble more instruction. I don't really like that as an instruction for my player because it costs us a promotion right now. I'm going to have to go ahead and change that, to be honest. And that's where we are as the 2nd of May. So in preparation for the new season, we've made some signings. We've sold some players. Mickey Jones went for 120k to Charlton Athletic. He was one of our better players. And then Luke Fellows, of course, left on a free to Bedford. He wasn't that good. But we've brought in some good players in here in Renford Solcon. He's quite good, 4.5 star, 24-year-old. He's a winger and also can play as a striker. Finishing not very good, but we can manage him. There's also Lucas Pitt in here. He's a very good centre back, 6'2". Concentration and all those kind of stuff might help, but he has marking 12, which is quite good considering the division that we're in right now. He's also, has some pace and acceleration, so that might help as well. He's also brought in Alan Hughes. He has very good aggression as a ball defender, ball winning midfielder. Sorry. You can have him in there. His marking is not so great, and pace as well is just average for pace. But he has that determination and he has a good personality as well, so we can consider keeping him in the team. These are some of the signings that we've gone on to make, and hopefully this season we can be able to somehow sneak into promotion. I really want to try and skip the playoffs because we have to try and win the league now, to be honest. Going through the playoff route is always very difficult, so let's hope that this time we can actually find a way to win the league. So in our second attempt at the Vanarama National League, we were able to win the league with 111 points and a goal difference of 85. We only lost 3 games in the league, and then we still have an outstanding cup game against Hartlepool in the semi-final of the Isuzu FA Trophy. I know last season we kind of neglected this trophy, even though we were in the final. If you look at the stages from last season, yeah, we did lose to Accrington Stanley in the final, 1-0. So this is the current season that we're in right now. Where is that semi-final? And we have to play against Hartlepool, while there's Chester and Stevenage. And since the league is already done and dusted, we've wrapped the league up. We might just try to focus on the Isuzu FA Trophy now and try to win that. So, but we've secured promotion into the Skybet League 2 at this point. So guys, I've got some bad news. We lost the Isuzu FA Trophy final to Chester, and if you look at the scoreline, it was the same scoreline by 1-0. But I know it's a bit sad, but I'm not really bothered about that because if you look at we lost by the same scoreline, 1-0, but I'm not really bothered about that, even though it's sad. But the reason why I'm not bothered is if you look at the finances, because we haven't been spending that much money, we have 1.5 million as a starting budget for the Skybet League 2. So we've earned as much as 1.5 million just by not signing anybody and only getting players in on a free transfer. It's not really sad because if you look at the finances of the club, we haven't been spending that much money at all except for contract renewals, and because of that we have 1.5 million in our transfer budget to actually go into Skybet League 2 with. So that's quite good. If you look at our profit and loss this season and then this last season, 2 million, about 2 million. So we've done quite well by playing the game without paying any transfer fees and just signing players on a free transfer. That's quite good. So going into League 2, we should be okay. And I think we've been able to actually complete half the challenge by taking the team out of non-league county football into the Skybet League 2. Bury is now an officially financially secure football club that can compete in the English Football League. We could take on an additional challenge by trying to take them as far up as the Premier League. So now that we are in Skybet League 2 and we've got a bit of money in the club, we're going to try to push for the Premier League. You can look at our finances of the club right now. We still have the 1.57 million that we carried on from Vanarama National League because we didn't really spend that much money. If you look at our transfer history, we've been able to get some players into the club on a free transfer as usual. Hash Cho Otele. It's actually a very, very good fullback, as you can see. I mean, he could use some pace. He could help with some acceleration as well and walk rate. He looks like he's kind of average, but to have somebody that has marking of 12 in Skybet League 2 is quite good. So he's going to be more of a defensive fullback for us. We also have here in Kian Cook Miles Smith. He's a winger. He's going to be more of the guy that is going to be running at the defense. He has a lot of pace to actually do that. So we've compensated for that side. We also have an advanced playmaker here in Alayo. And to me, this was actually the star signing of the window because we have a player with flair. 20 going to be the attacking midfielder. He has very good passing and very good vision. So we're going to try our best to try and keep this guy in the team as often as possible. He is going to be our main creator. So if you go back to Sky Bet League 2 and look at the season preview, we are predicted to finish in 20th. So not that bad. We kind of built the team before we even got in here. So I feel we had a good team coming into Sky Bet League 2. We should be okay. But we're going to see how the first season in Sky Bet League 2 goes. To help us get familiar with our tactics, we set up a lot of friendlies. I mean, I set up some friendlies and then my assistant manager also went to set up more friendlies. I set up friendlies against teams that I've beaten in the past or teams that I've lost to in the past, like Worksop and Leek and Chester. I think Leek and Chester, we lost to both of them in cup finals. So I kind of brought them back in here to see how we can actually play against them in friendlies. And then we're going to have our first fixture against Gateshead in the Sky Bet League 2. So we're in the 2nd of November right now, and I just had to pause the season here because I noticed that we are first at the table. We've only lost 4 games, we've drawn 1, and we have a goal difference of 25. This is ridiculously good considering that this is actually our first season. I just wanted to show you guys this, and I'm also going to show you the tactic that I'm using right now because I feel you spent a lot of time in this video, so it's clear that I need to show you what's actually working for us and why we've been able to do so well even as a team that is buried, that didn't really have that much facilities. If you look at the club facility, there's really nothing here. We've been able to increase our reputation a little bit, and we've also improved our club value to now 13 million, which is quite good, and we haven't really spent that much money. If you look at the finances, I still have 1.5 million left in the budget, so everybody that I signed were like free transfers. So just to be a bit more transparent, we're going to go into the team selection now, and then you can see that the tactic that I'm currently using is the Taufik Miracle 1 tactic. Now the tactic is one of the best football manager tactics of all time. That is because he went on to win the first international football manager game. So it works. But you still need to have the right players to actually do this. So every time I go into the season, I always make sure any player that isn't ready to stay at the club or is not very good enough, I try to sell them for a particular amount of money or let them go on a free, or I don't renew their contracts. And then I go ahead and sign better players on a free transfer, those players that can actually come into the club and improve the team. So that's what I've been doing for this rebuild. It's been quite good, and I want to see how far we can actually go with this. Alongside the Miracle 1 tactic, I also have a 4-3-3 that I've been using that I kind of created off the Miracle 1 tactic. So this is more suited to the players that I have. It has kind of dynamic roles: advanced playmaker on attack, central midfielder on attack, and of course the fullback on support, and then the other guy is on attack. So in case you want the Miracle 1 tactic, I'm not really going to share this 4-3-3 tactic with you. This is more personal for me, so I'm not really going to be sure if it works out for you. The Miracle 1 tactic is the main tactic that you're going to want to have, and I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can get this tactic, or at least get a video to is going to lead you to the tactic where I break it down in detail. You can obviously download the tactic if you don't already know about it. And so let's get back to Sky Bet League 2 and see how far we can go if we actually end up winning the league. Unlike the National League, we were able to conquer the Sky Bet League 2 in one season. We lost all the other cup competitions, but in the league, we won the league with 94 points at a goal difference of 55. We did quite well, and the top goal scorer was Mati Verhos, which is one of our strikers. As you can see, he's quite good, 3-star player. So it sort of works. It seems like the gap between National League and League 2 is not that much, so we've kind of been able to succeed in this league. We made just a few signings. If you go back to the transfer history, you can see most of them are all free signings. We went on to bring some of these players that I showed you earlier. We've not been able to get anybody out the door, and there's a reason for that, because my squad is really small. We had like 19 players at the start, and it wasn't enough, so I had to just find a way to only bring in players without selling anybody. And at some point we're going to try to trim the squad again and again until let's see how we can actually perform in Sky Bet League 1 when we get in there, finding a way to get more players that are of better quality that can actually help us compete in that division. We lost 10 times in the league, by the way, so it wasn't all nice like compared to the previous league. We also drew 7 games, but we won 29 of those games, and it was enough to actually help us win the league as champions. We're heading over to League 2 now, but before we get there, let's look at the club vision for a bit. We've been able to play possession football. We've been able to play possession football and make it most of set pieces, also play high tempo pressing football and attacking football and entertaining football. Everything is all green in this category. But then if you look at the club info and where we stand, you can see that our facilities haven't really improved. However, our reputation has improved, and we're now worth 21 million in estimated value. So the team is actually doing quite well. And the fact that we're not spending any money to sign in players, we're only taking them on a free transfer, is actually helping us massively improve our value as a club. Regional, while reputation is now 2-star, as opposed to the 1.5 star that we had before in the Vanarama National League. So now that we're officially in Skybet League 1, we need to find better players that can actually help us stay in this league. I'm going to use the scouting network to actually do this. Sometimes I like to use the director of football to recommend signings for me. I'm going to use the scouting network. We currently have it set to the league that we're in right now, which is the Skybet League 1, but I can increase it to maybe England because I think we have the scouting budget to actually do that. Scouting budget is 184k, so we can choose to spend the money. UK and Ireland. I think Skybet League 1 has that kind of wide range, so we can choose this 120k and then use the remaining to actually scout those players. So I'm going to use the recommended signings here. There are players here that are here on a free transfer. There's a fullback here in Joe Phillips. He's playing for Nottingham Forest. He has the quality to play in the Skybet League 1. That's what I'm going to assume. I can just go ahead and use approach to sign and then choose to agree whatever he wants. He says he can be a free player or a fringe player, which is good for me. He has some cons in his jumping reach, but he's a fullback. I'm not expecting him to really jump that high, so I'm just going to go ahead and negotiate his contract, take off most of the wage rise and then also the clean sheet bonuses. Just take them all out. What I like to do is also add the extension clause to 30 days, so in case he plays as much as 30 games, you can then go ahead and increase his contract. 1.3k, 1.3k. Okay, he's going to agree that, and then we have him for 2 years now, so we can go ahead and keep that guy. The next guy is Hudson John, or Frank Hudson John from Barnet. Barnett used to be in the lower leagues with us, right? So he's a player that likes to get further forward, more like a ball-playing defender, because it shows you a no-nonsense centre-back, but he likes to get forward. So we're just going to go ahead and try and sign him. Not really checking too much. This is all I've been doing throughout the entire rebuild. Just go ahead and find the best players that you can for no money whatsoever. He says he wants to be an important player. Go ahead and finalize that, and then check off all the yearly wage rise. I also go as far as removing all the bonuses of whatsoever that he's planning to actually get into his contract. I can go ahead and leave the release clause, to be honest, and then I can drop this down to maybe, like, let's just test him out, 600. Oh, 1.5. So once it turns red like this, I just go ahead and agree whatever he wants, so I get to sign him. So there are more players here that are on a free transfer. There's a winger here in Jordan Ivison. Very good pace, acceleration and pace. I'm just going to just go ahead and sign him as he is. He wants to play the role of winger. I'm not using any winger in my tactics, so I'm just going to uncheck that instruction and then ask him to be a squad player. He wants to be an important player. Go ahead and negotiate the contract, and there we go. Wow, he does demand a lot when it comes to bonuses. So this is going to be a very difficult one to land because he's demanding too much. The compensation is actually 0. That's what I like. So minimum release clause, I'm going to actually uncheck that because I don't like the fact that it's quite low. And assists, is going to make it 30 assists and 20 on this. We're also going to make this other assist 15, and let's just go ahead and submit that. 4.6. I can take that if he goes ahead to give us 15 assists. Okay, go ahead to finalize the deal. It should be okay. And then the other guy is a left back in Roger Rowe, 23-year-old left back, also has very good pace. So we're just going to go ahead and approach to sign him. He can also play on the left and on the right hand side. So just try again, squad player. Let's see, regular starter, still wants to be an important player, no problem. Let's just give him what he wants. 11k is actually a lot of money for a signing, and we cannot go above 5, so we're just going to jump into 4.7. I was going to go ahead and uncheck all these further options. We might need to pay him a lot of money. This might be one of our best players on the team, Roger Rowe. Oh, he might not come to the club. So he says here 7.25. We're just going to put a non-negotiable bid and then maybe increase one of his bonuses for example, because I do want to keep him. Just suggest. He didn't agree to come to the club, so we're just going to leave him alone and then look for another player. It will have cost us too much money anyway, so let's just look for this other guy. This is the right back from Bournemouth. I can go ahead and sign him. Try an impact substitute. Also wants to be an important player in the team. Anyway, we can just go ahead and farm this guy in. 1k per week is good for me. I should have gone lower for that. I should have gone lower. But anyway, there's a lot of players that you can just scroll on. This is basically how I've been doing it. So after a cruel contract negotiation, we've lost one of our best players as a right back and centre back. He's going to Reading at the end of his contract, which is really, really sad. I tried to renew his contract, but he declined, and then he's decided to go to Reading. I may not want to sign a different replacement for him, so that's going to be really, really sad to see him go. But obviously, We're going to try to move on from that. We'll look at the transfers that we've done when they do come in, but we've actually started working on a new training facility, 750k. The board actually rejected our request to increase the youth level, and they also rejected our request to improve the youth facilities. The only thing they agreed on was the training facility, so that's what we're going to wait for. Most of our staff and coaches have their contract expiring, but this is all boring paperwork, so we're going to get through them and then start the season. We'll come back when the season is over and see how well we did. So guys, at the end of our first season in Skybet League 1, we made it to the playoffs, but if you look at the playoffs, we lost in the semi-final to Barnsley. We lost the first game 2-0, and then I think we beat them in the second game 1-0 because I actually managed the second game. Yeah, we did beat them 1-0. I thought we were able to get another goal, but we weren't, so that's just how it was, and we kind of lost that game and we have to now like stay in Skybet League 1. Again, looking at the stage of the season, going back to the league table, we can see that we finished in 5th place in the league. We lost 13 games, which is, well, not so good to be honest, but I think for the first time in Skybet League 1, we overachieved because I know the tactic is very good. And like I mentioned, I think I'm using 2 versions of a tactic. The current version of the tactic that I'm using is a 4-3-3, and I told you guys already it might not work for your team, but I think I'm going to go ahead and add the 4-3-3 to the download so you can go ahead and get it as well, since it has been working fine for us so far. That's working for us in 2 different divisions, so mostly you do fine with just the main tactic that I told you about, which is the Miracle 1 tactic. Again, I'm going to attach a link to that. You probably have already seen it, but in case you haven't, I'm going to share that with you. So that's how our Skybet League 1 first season went on to finish, and we have to now stay another season, try to get more players. Looking at the players that we went on to sign in our transfer history, these are the players that we got in on loan, and these are the players that we let go on loan. So it's basically just the balance. No money spent. Really, we didn't earn that much money. Lee Swift was one player I know I should have made money from, but I didn't. The Reading ended up signing him on a free transfer, which wasn't good for me, to be honest. But that's okay. We'll try and stay in the league and then push for the Skybet Championship. I'm just going to tease the board here and try to ask for more stuff. We've done quite well. In fact, we've done exceptionally well in every step of this particular rebuild. But we're just going to get into the club facilities, try to look for something that can help us get a bit more. Let's say start with youth recruitment, try to get better players in. Another senior affiliate. I think senior affiliate might help us get a better income from a senior team. But I'm just going to try to improve any form of facilities that we have, try and help us get better in this league and improve the club, what do you call it, club information. This is all at 64433. It's supposed to be a lot higher than that, so that's what we're trying to do now, as well as boost the club's reputation. You won't believe what just happened. After our first season in Skybet League 1, the board actually agreed to improve the youth recruitment. They also agreed to increase junior coaching budget and also add another training facility to the team. So it seems we needed to get this done and stay in the league and then try to cement ourselves here. Then we have to start building all the facilities and stuff. So we've come to the end of this challenge, but we have one more game to actually play, which is the playoff final of the Skybet League 1. Now, we're going to play against Charlton Athletic in the final, but before we get to that, you can look at the schedule. And yeah, we just went ahead to beat Preston after a mouth-watering first leg, drawing 3-3 with them. We went on to beat them 1-0 at home, and now we have to play against Charlton Athletic in the playoff final. The reason why I'm calling it quits at this point, it's possible to actually go ahead and complete it and try to push them as far as possible to the Premier League. But I want to share the save with you guys so you can go ahead and play from this point. I've taken Bury out from the county leagues all the way to Skybet League 1, and if you want to join the challenge and try to take Bury all the way up to the Premier League, you also have a bit of something to spend in the financial category. Yeah, it's still 1.75 million. The money that is here is money that we spent on renovating the club and bringing in more training facilities and youth facilities. So I didn't actually spend that money on any players. So we're going to go ahead and play the playoff final now against Charlton Athletic. If we win, we can get into the Skybet Championship. So I'm going to give you the save with the championship. But if we don't win, you might have to go ahead and play the game with Bury in Skybet League 1. So fingers crossed for this one. Let's see how the game actually goes. So kickoff then, we're at Wembley and against Charlton Athletic in the Skybet League 1 playoff final. Okay, we've got a free kick here. It's a long ball in, headed away by Charlton Athletic defender. Here's Kavanagh, probably their fullback. Oh, he's playing a back pass. Out to Harris, long ball away. Very good clearance from the goalkeeper. Out to Bolland as O'Hare. Out to Williams. I think we're onto something here. We might go ahead and score a goal from this one. Here's Hughes. Play the pass. Oh, come on. What are you doing, Hughes? So it's halftime at the moment. We've been controlling the game. We have more of the possession and more shots, even shots on target. And looking at the way the thing is, I do expect us to actually go ahead to find the goal. But I've been playing Football Manager long enough to know that Charlton Athletic could try and surprise us in this game. But let's see how the second half actually goes. Let's go ahead and motivate the team, try to get them to do more, give them some encouragement. I know it's very difficult to be playing against a team that is much better than you in a final. Okay, we've got a chance here. Here's Howard. Out to Kanu. Kanu has somehow been in the team since we were in non-league football, and he's trying to help us get into the Skybet Championship. Yes, Holcon, lovely ball in there by Yuba. Basi Uba has actually given us the first goal. Can we hold on here and get into the championship? Fingers crossed, guys. A lovely ball from Bolland out to Hudson Holm. And here's Howard. Through ball all the way to Solkon. Plays a direct square pass to Uba. 1-0 Berry. Oh, come on. They waited until the 88th minute to get their own highlights. Oh, please don't score. I beg you. Please don't do this. They've played a pass. Lovely save. Oh my goodness. I'm playing on an attacking mentality now. Should we go to a defensive mentality? Would that help? Oftentimes I've seen it in the past cost us. Wait, hang on a minute. Goalkeeper saved it again. I think we're just going to stick to the attacking mentality here. They're all over us right now. Oh my goodness. Please don't let them score. There's Campbell. They're doing everything they can now. Good ball recovery. They're back. We've got 5 minutes added time. Oh my goodness. Headed away. Yes, Lawal. Kicked away. I think I can do a balanced mentality. That might help. Rather than just the attacking mentality. Oh, hold on. Oh no, please do not let them score. This is nail biting. They've got another corner. Campbell. We've got 4 minutes until we get into the Skybet Championship. 4 minutes to go. Why are we still trying? Oh my god, they're pressing so high. How are we going to do this? Yeah, get up, get up. Very good decision there. The ball's coming back though. We've managed to hold on to a 1-0 victory by Basi Uba scoring the only goal for us. So we are promoted to the Skybet Championship with Berry. What a wonderful journey it has been. Congratulations on securing promotion. It has been a lovely ride, and if you enjoyed the video for this long, do thank you for staying this long. Remember, I'm going to give you guys a save file so you can go ahead and continue the journey and see if you can take Berry from the championship, which we've just gotten into now, and see how you can take them into the Premier League. But for now, and for the end of this video, we have successfully found ourselves in the Skybet Championship after winning the playoffs against Charlton Athletic. So it's been a good season. It's been a good save. It's been a good rebuild. It's obviously not finished. It's going to be a lot more to go there. The story is still open-ended. And thank you for sticking around with this video. I'll see you in the next one.